Hi, welcome back. Let us continue our analysis of few more questions. And here we have question number 36. In the context of software engineering, what is refactoring? Refactoring is a term that is very common in the software industry, especially among the developers, where we change the code, you know, into different uh, coding syntax, or we break the larger code into smaller code like that, but the main functionality will stay the same, right? So we are actually trying to make the code better, more readable, more maintainable, and also give it away or fix the bugs, like. So that's one of the reasons. These are some of the reasons of refactoring. So option C, I can say this is the correct, most appropriate answer. Modifying code to improve the performance. Yes, it does definitely help the performance. And readability. Yes, it does, without changing its functionality. So option C will be the correct answer for this question. Refactoring. What is refactoring? Yeah, option C is the correct answer. Rewriting the entire software? No. In refactoring, we don't actually write the whole new software again, removing unnecessary feature from this. This is also not, the refactoring. And add new features? No, this is not. Option C is the only, correct answer here. Modifying code to improve performance. So, next question: what does the term black box testing means? So, in a software engineering subject, right, there are two type of testing called white box testing, and not actually two but three: white box testing, black box testing, and a gray box testing. So what is black box testing means testing, with an application, right, without actually knowing what is the internal structure or how they are implemented internally. We're actually only testing only the functionality of applications, and whether they are working and behaving as expected. We don't care about how they are implemented, what is their internal code implementations. So option A is the correct answer. Testing without knowledge of internal knowledge. Yeah, this is option A. So this is totally the counterpart of this option A. So looking into the option, looking into the software code, this is white box testing, not a black box. So this is correct, wrong. Testing software is stimulated. This is also not. Testing user interface only. No. So next question: what are the correct, what is this? Okay, I think this is a type of software engineering. What are the correct types of software engineering? All right, so I think correcting maintenance, everything maintenance, perfect maintenance. I think for this question, all of the options, option D will be the correct answer. So these are a type of maintenance. Also one, you, know, you can read through this topic from the software engineering subject. Next question: what is the purpose of version control in software engineering? Yeah, we have a software, updates getting, but those versions are being sorry, those updates are maintained based on the versions. So software have different version, like version 1, version 2, version 3. So that main purpose is to actually track the changes of the software code and make multiple versions, sorry, and manage multiple versions here. This option A is the correct answer. Option A is correct here. Speed up execution? No. This is also no. Software bugs? No. Software versioning we maintain in order to manage different different versions, and share the updates, and also like sharing the latest updated version with users, so that user can you know use different range of softwares versions. All right, next question: which of the following is this disadvantage of spiral model? So spiral model, it actually divides into four quadrants, and in each quadrant, like, it analyzes the risks, and then you make iterations for development, right? And it keeps on iterating. So, spiral model, what we do, it can be expensive due to frequent risk analysis. In each quadrant, like one, two, three, four, in each quadrant, there is a risk analysis. And due to this, and over risk analysis, this can actually lead to overhead or over expensive. So option D is the correct answer here. What is the primary goal of software engineering during design phase? Primary goal, what is that in software engineering? The primary, is it to identify bugs? No, this is actually a topic or a job in the software testing or software development phase, right? So we are asking about the primary goal. What is the primary goal? So this is option A is not correct. Option, what is the source code to write? No, this is an implementation phase. It is just only the one phase of software engineering. So to create the blueprint architectures, once again, the blueprint architecture, this is also designing, only the phase of the designing. But the main primary goal is to first, what should we do to gather and finalize the requirements? So we do, start developing the software only once we have gathered everything what is required. So option D is the correct answer here. Option D is correct answer. So, which of the following is the first step in software development lifecycle? SDLC. What is the first step? As I have said, requirement gathering is the first step that we need to do. Option C is the obviously the correct answer here. And which of the following protocol is used for secure communication over internet? So for secure communications over the internet. So over the internet means they are referring to this, the HTTP request, HTTP based request, where we request for web resources over our or the internet. For example, browsers, web pages being loaded, being requested from servers using HTTP. However, there once again mentioned this, it's secure. So that is why HTTP as the S stands for secure here. Option C is correct. Option B is not correct here. FTP is a different protocol for dealing with file upload or file sharing, transferring, like an SMTP is for email, sending emails. HTTPS, option C is the correct answer. So what is the protocol? Which protocol is used for obtaining IP address of DCP server, right? All right, DCP server, what is it? What is a DCP server? So, right, so ARP, DHCP, ISCMP, DNS. So which protocol is used for obtaining IP address from DHCP? DHCP means dynamic host control protocols. Once again, what does dynamic host control protocol does? It does for dynamically assigning IP address to the networking devices, right? So this is not related to ARP. ARP is totally different protocol, which result from IP address to the MAC address. ICMP is for sending the error message and the ping, you know, in the network. And DNS is totally dynamic. Domain name system is for resolving your domain host name to its corresponding IP address. So DHCP is the correct answer. Option C is correct here. Which of the following is the feature of TCP protocol? See, TCP protocol, it is a protocol of a transport layer, and there are mainly two types of transport layer protocol: TCP and UDP. Sorry, UDP, where TCP is connection oriented, and due to its connect, and also there is, it ensures that the packets reach in the correct order and they should not be lost. So there is a retransmission happening in TCP, so it makes reliable. So option B is the correct answer. Which of the following OSI model is responsible for logical addressing and routing? Alright, so they are asking for OSI model, which layer is responsible for logical reasoning, addressing and reasoning. So definitely, routing and addressing is related to network layer here. If you have read about OSI model, you could have answered this like easily. This is a very straightforward questions, and options is already there. Network layer, option B is the correct answer. What does the term bandwidth refers to? Network. So bandwidth, right? This is once again in networking concept. So in networking, what is the bandwidth? Bandwidth means the amount of, bandwidth. Like there's bandwidth like 10 Mbps, like 1 Mbps, something like this. So it refers to the amount of data that can be sent in a given amount of time. Yes, I think option A will be the correct answer here. Next, let us see why the maximum number of devices. No, this is not related to number of connected. Physical length of cable. No, this is not about length of the cable. Number of connections between devices in a network. This is once again wrong. Option A is the correct answer. What is it? So which of the following is the most common method of accessing internet at home? In home, okay, this is very confusing. Like DSL, back in the days they used DSL, but however, like in recent days, people just use at home cellular data. They use it for mobile internet as well as for computers using hotspot. So this is very confusing, right? Fiber optics cable, also a lot has trend is going on where people use fiber optics for to access faster internet and more reliable internet connection. In the recent days, people have been using this. Satellite is very rare and not used at all. And satellite Starlink, Starlink. There is a recent growth of satellite internet due to this company called Starlink by Elon Musk. So satellite internet is also used, but they're asking most common. So I think best from for in the context of the question, they ask for you know the internet connection that was relevant back in the days, quite old days. In that case, the SL data subscriber line will where it uses telephone line for telephone line telephone network line for accessing internet. Option A will be most likely the correct answer here. Option A will be correct answer. Let's see. Next question, which of the following is not a type of not? Remember this. Always try to see these kind of keywords. Not a type of wireless network. So we know Wi-Fi is wireless, NFS. So but they have asked for not a wireless. So in other words, they're asking for what is a wired network. So option A, Wi-Fi, no. NFC, no. Bluetooth is also no. Ethernet is definitely a wired. So option D is correct answer. In IPv6, how many bits? IPv6, how many bits are there in IPv6? This is a straight answer, straight forward answer. You don't have to just analyze or anything. If you have read about IPv6, 128 bits represents the IP address of version 6, and 32 is for IPv4 and IPv6. Option D is correct answer, and option D is correct answer. What does NAT? NAT is a network. NAT is network technology that translates net, and it stands for network address translation. And what it does is it translates the local address, local IP to the public IP. It actually helps your computer devices in local network to connect to the internet. So option A is the correct answer here, network address translation. So which protocol is used for remote login? Remote login of a computer over network. Remote login, HTTP, no. SNMP, no. FTP, no. FTP for transferring file, HTTP for connecting to the servers on the internet. SNMP, simple network management protocol. Option C is definitely correct answer. Option C, and there could be another way to connect to remote that is called telnet, but this was not in the question. Sorry, in the options. SSH is a modern approach, secure secure connection to the internet or to log in onto the remote computers. This is very prevalent in like cloud technology, like the AWS, where user can log in into this AWS instance using SSH. So option C is correct here. Which of the following is an example of data definition language? There are mainly 3 to 4, like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL. These are the languages here. Select is definitely a DML. This is not correct answer. And insert is also an, update is also DML. All these are all DML, but this one option C is correct here. DDL. Right. So this is the correct answer. Which of the various relational is, what is the tuple? What is a tuple here? Tuple here is a row. It refers to the row in a tuple. You know, tuple, it is a term which is equivalent to this row. Tuple, is a term that we use in relation when you talk about relation, and when it is equivalently, right? When we talk about the tables in a database, this is option A is correct answer here. Option 5, which of the following is true about referential integrity? In referential integrity relation, yeah, answers the foreign key are valid and corresponding replicate. So referential integrity, when we have two tables in which there is a foreign key here, F key, it refers to the primary key of another table, and in this referential integrity answers that the foreign key here, it should refer to the valid primary key of another table. Option A is correct here. The answers the foreign key are valid on corresponding primary key. So next question we have, which of the following is the correct syntax for SQL? Creating table SQL. So basic. This is basic, very 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 basic. So if you have worked or studied the basics of SQL, you could have answered this. Create table. It is not alter, add, not new, not this. Create table name and column data types. Option A is correct answer. All right. So option A is correct answer. Which of the following is an example of relational database? Relational database like MySQL. MongoDB is a different NoSQL based. Hadoop is also here. The appropriate answer is the SQL, which is a traditional relational, you know, relational DBMS. Option A is correct answer. Which of the following is the disadvantage of a centralized database? Disadvantage of centralized database. So what is the disadvantage? Like it may lead to single point of failure. Let's say we have this one database here and multiple users are accessing here. Multiple users are accessing. So just in case if this database fails, then all the users accessing that one central database will have no access, or will not get any service from database. So that is why this can lead to single point of failure, and it means that if this database fail, all the other users will be affected. So option C is the correct answer. So which type of database is this designed is to reduce the redundancy and improve integrity? So we know that this is a concept in DBMS subject, like DBMS. What it does is it breaks down the bigger tables into smaller tables to reduce redundancy and also improve integrity. And this is the concept called normalization. So this is what we do in normalization. So denormalization does the opposite. What it does is combine two or smaller tables to make a bigger tables and increase redundancy. So but in the question they have asked to reduce redundancy. So option B is correct answer here. Which of the following is SQL statement to modify the data in the table? Modify. How do we modify data? It is using update. Option C is correct here. This is straightforward answer. In a relational database, which of the following describe the structure of data? So in DBM, in database, like what does it describe as data? Like it is actually schema. Schema is a logical representation of database, which describes how the table will be represented, and the constraints of the tables, attributes like that. So option A describes about a database. So option A is correct answer here. Which of the following is true about indexing? Indexing in database, once again, indexing actually helps to improve the retrieval or speed of the data retrieval, right? So indexing, option A is correct answer here. Which of the following is an HTML attribute used to specify the background color? So if you have worked with HTML, CSS, you will be able to answer this question. How do we specify the background color of our web page in using CSS? Okay, not CSS, but in HTML we have any one tag, and we use this busy color, not background, not busy color. This is the correct tag, so the attribute that we use in SD. Option A is correct answer. Which of the following, let me show you this, like tag. For example, we have this box div, and we want to set busy color, busy color to red, something like this. So busy color is what we use as an attribute for setting the background color. Which of the following is a valid JavaScript function to print hello world? So you need to know something about the hello world to answer. And from the given options, option C is the correct syntax. This is option C is correct syntax to write the hello world. All right. So we console log. Which in next question? Which of the following is a valid, you know, method to apply external JavaScript HTML? What is the correct syntax? Option B is correct syntax. I can see option B is correct syntax here. It is, we use this tag called sgrc, source, and the file name. So this is not the correct option. Here we are using F. This is not correct syntax. This is also, not a correct. Why? Because we are not using JavaScript tag name. Option D is also not correct. We are setting here file. So option B is the only correct option here. What is the main purpose of meta in HTML? So in the header sections, we write this meta. It is to specify the character encoding of the document, like UTF-8. UTF-8 is one of the character encoding, right? So this is what we mentioned in meta. It is not to define, remember, it is not to define document title. We actually use the title tag. We use the title tag for defining the title of the document. So option B is correct answer here. Which of the following is the correct syntax for making a list in HTML? List is actually this, not A, not C, not D. So the correct option here is this, option B, UL, LI, and we write the item here, something like this, right? So option B is correct answer. Which of the following is HTML tag used to display an image on a web page? Like if you want to display an image, we actually use this picture. Picture, it does not, it is related to grouping the image. It actually relates to grouping image, but the exact tag, HTML tag to display an image is actually img. Picture is actually we cannot directly show the image. We still need img as an inner nested tag to display image. Option B is the only correct answer. So option A is not the correct answer. Which of the following is the correct way to include CSS file in HTML? Once again, this is not, we have to be aware of the syntax. If like to answer this question, if you have worked with CSS, definitely this is the correct answer. Yes, this is the correct syntax to link CSS to our HTML file. What is the main function of DOM? What is it? DOM, we know the document object model. What is it? What is the main function? So DOM, it is just define the structure. Yes, what does DOM do is, DOM is document object modeling, where we have our HTML code written and the browser. DOM actually tries to build that different, nested, tree like nodes, consisting of nodes representing different, the HTML tags, right? A tree like nodes from starting from the root and body, head, in title, something, and multiple nodes and branching are created, and this is to define the structure. And due to this DOM, the browser is able to define the structure of HTML document. So finally we have come to the end of this question analysis, and I hope you have found this really helpful. And if you're new, I like to suggest something like, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you have, you know if you want to share with someone, please do share with people around you. This will definitely help them and also help um, my channel to grow, and it will motivate me to bring some more questions in the future, analysis of some more questions of multiple exams. So this is all I have for today. Like, I have solved all the questions, and now all these options will definitely match with the final answer key, but few of the question options answers may differ from the final answer key that will be given out by the exam organizers. So this is all what I can say, and thanks everyone for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.